And you thought dinosaurs were scary? Wait until you see a mummified dinosaur on this very belated Halloween video. But hey, every day could be Halloween.
G'day there folks, I'm Beanie, you're watching Beanie Draws, and I'm coming at you once again with another Halloween styled video. With these videos I am going to try my best to make them as unedited as possible.
Yeah, this didn't remain all that unedited.
I may have to edit a few little bits here and there, just for the sake of timing and such, but I want to try and get some relatively unedited videos going, because it is Inktober, it's also Halloween, and I want to try and get as many videos out as possible. The more videos I can get done, they take a while to edit, so if I don't have to edit them much, all the better. I'm trying to go for a zombie. No, not a zombie. We've already done the zombie. Going for a mummified T-Rex. I'm kind of roughing out a bit of a shape right now. Kind of treating it like it's clay. Forming different shapes, because I have absolutely no idea at the moment how it's going to look when it's finished, but my zombified one looked pretty good, so I am going to just assume this is going to look good. So basically what I'm doing is, I'm not doing any like circles or anything that I normally do, I'm just kind of laying out lines, because I kind of got an idea of how I see this in my brain. I'm not going to commit to ink just yet, obviously. That's going to take a little while. But I'm kind of placing down all these different random lines until I kind of... I'm like, yeah, I like where that line's landed. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And like I said in my other zombified one, this is kind of like a preview of... Or not really a preview, it's just like practice for when I eventually can live stream, because... yeah, I have 1 megabyte per second upload speed, and for all those of you who don't live in Australia, probably have 100 megabytes per second upload speed, so you can do your streaming of your games. I can't do that. So, yeah, I'm just basically recording live videos and then waiting forever for them to upload. I almost want... no, it's meant to be a mummy, so I don't want it to be too animated in the hand. And when I say animated, obviously it's not going to be animated, but, you know, I wanted to have some expression. If I had an editor, I'd probably do these a little bit more in the vein of Draw a Jazzer, but I'm just doing these just roughly, quickly, because I want to do, it's getting close to Halloween, and I didn't really do much for Halloween last year. Well, it was October, and, well, I've already made videos about, you know, how it wasn't exactly the best year last year or the start of this year. Tried to make the best of what I could, but, you know, things got in the way, life got in the way, and I didn't really have the emotional energy to, you know, get the videos that I wanted to get out done. So I've done an Indoraptor tutorial, which I finally feel like I'm back in fighting force, so that is why I want to try and get as many of these cool little fellas out for Halloween and Inktober. So I've got my little foot coming up. I'm liking how that foot's going, just doing some rough little padding. I also got to be careful not to cover my drawing with my hand. I know that's a problem that I've had in the past, but I'm liking that foot, so I'm always kind of imagining it as if it's in motion. So I do have a little bit of a background in animation, and I've studied animation, and I love Disney and all that kind of stuff, so I am basically just kind of drawing this as if it was already in motion and animating, and trying to imagine how the body looks when it's in animated mode. And you know, if you watch Pixar movies especially, you know all the exaggerated movements that they make. So I'm kind of going for that style. I'll work on the foot a bit more later, but for now I kind of want to, the head is barely in frame, but I kind of want to see if I can make the head a little bit smaller perhaps. Sometimes I have to pause just to think how I want the head to go. Okay, so kind of want to give him a big nose. And the other trouble with doing these unedited videos is you've got to kind of, unless I just do this as a time lapse, but you know, I know some of you will want to watch how I actually did it. I might do a series of time lapses, maybe in among these uploads. We'll see how we go. But I'm basically getting the layout of the head. I don't like that lump there, so I'm getting rid of that lump. I'm getting rid of that bit of nose. I don't need that nose anymore. He's a mummy, he doesn't need to breathe. A lot of him is going to be covered in sheets anyway, so I'm just kind of getting a gauge of where the sheets and the, what do you call it, the fabric or whatever it is, the stuff that makes a zombie, a mummy, all those sheets and rags and torn off bits are where they're gonna fall. So that's not bad. Kind of want his mouth to be kind of cute. So as you can see that I started drawing it down there, but I'm like, you know what, I want to have the mouth up a little bit. And I'm actually going to draw a little droopy tongue. I don't know, do I want the droopy tongue there or do I want the droopy tongue there? Because this is in pencil, it doesn't matter if I actually draw two droopy tongues, and then I can kind of, when I get closer to finishing the piece, I can sort of decide if it works better there, if it works better here. Or indeed if it works better here. It might almost work better there. Or maybe he's eating a octopus for all we know. But for now, we'll see how that goes. Do mummies actually have drooping out tongues? I know zombies do. I don't actually do a droopy tongue on my zombie. That was a missed opportunity. I'm also going to do a playlist. I'll probably suggest it up here somewhere. I'll probably do one playlist of Halloween themed cartoons and just drawings in general, and a playlist for my Inktober, Dono-tober little drawings. So I'm kind of going with that kind of style. Do I want to give him spikes coming out of his body? I don't know. Is that how I want to work it? You know what? After working it for a little while, I don't like that tongue, so we're not going to bother with that. See, as you draw other bits, you can kind of gather how you like it. I kind of like it, you know, sort of in the back of the corner of the mouth. So I think I will go there. So I think that will be cute, because the whole idea behind these, you know, Halloween is, for the most part anyway, Halloween I don't think is really meant to be all that dark and serious. I mean, yeah, obviously some people like really, really dark, scary Halloweens, but a lot of us just like to have fun with Halloween, especially me. I like to get a little bit kooky and creepy, like the Munsters, yeah, the early Munsters movie, and the old Addams Family shows when they were all in black and white, and yeah, they were fun. They were fun and camp, just like the old Batman. I mean, I think TV shows, like, I'm not that old, but I think TV shows from like the 60s and that were just more fun. They weren't taking themselves so seriously. That. Speaking of just talking about TV series, why don't you put in the comments below what your favourite old style cartoon or old style. No, Siri, I didn't. Siri, why did you come on? Go away. See, I can't activate my Siri by going, hey Siri, or whatever it is, but it will come on when I don't want it to come on. Thanks for that. Interfering with my video there. Oh man, Apple sucks. Let's not start that argument. I've already been watching a lot of tech channels and all the drama going on with the iPhones and the Androids and all that, and I'm just like, bro, I just want to draw dinosaurs. Although we do, in our little dinosaur community, we do have our own little controversy of not enough feathers. There's not enough feathers, or whether Spinosaurus walked on 2 feet or 4 feet, which I've already covered fairly extensively, but I'm not going to really go into it in this one. But as you can see, I've crafted out my little dinosaur. He looks cool just like that as its own little, you know, creature design, but now I want to put in some of these bandages. That's the word I was looking for, bandage. See, I know how to language. And actually, some of these bandages going through, I think that actually the bandages, the spikes could probably get in the way of the bandages, but we shall see. Put a bandage line around there. Maybe we'll have a bandage around there. Bandage there. And of course I'm going to be inking this up. First I got to decide where my little bandage is going to go. Now that I finally know that's called bandages. My god. How did I not know that? And I kind of want to go slightly over the top, but not completely over the top with these bandages. Chances are I'll be talking about the bandage. If I say bandage enough, I'll remember to say bandages. But for now, I'm just kind of deciding where I think these curves, and as you can see, I'm kind of drawing these curves and cross lines and just the lines themselves to the contours of its little body. And I like to sort of, you can see how I'm drawing the lines kind of underneath some of the lines, and that makes it look like that the bandages are layered. You can just have like a little line there, little line there. The problem though is I'm getting a little bit overboard with the lines. Like you can see I've been going really messy with my lines because I like to, you know, sketch it out and rough it out like that. But there is potentially the danger of making your artwork a little bit too messy to the point where you kind of confuse yourself, or at least I confuse myself sometimes. So that's what you want to try to avoid. But still, it's pencil, so it's not the end of the world, and I do want to ink this up again, Inktober. Curious to know whether people will still be watching these videos after Inktober and after Halloween. Because, you know, for me, for someone like me who's grown up in the goth scene and grown up in the industrial rock scene, you know, I like to think that Halloween can be all the time. Sometimes I go off on little tangents, and I'm gonna put a little, oh man, it's got messy up here. It's got really messy up here, and hopefully it's not too shadowy. Sometimes it gets a little bit shadowy and my lighting gets a little bit off, so if it's kind of hard to see right now, I apologize. Again, trying to keep this quick and rough. I'll make a bandage there. And I think, do I want this eye to be, I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, we'll have it a glowing red eye actually. Don't know how that's going to work in ink, but I probably will do a slight colouring at the end. Because it's bandages, it's not going to be totally, you know, don't have to worry about too much, but I'm going to have like a nice just glowing red eye. Just going to put some little lines around there just to kind of remind myself that's meant to be a glowing eye. Tongue is good. I'm going to keep the tooth over the tongue. I'm going to keep a hole there for the bandage. That works. Don't have to have bandages all over the dinosaur. And I'm going to have some of the bandages like kind of drooping. So maybe that bandage goes over that other bandage underneath. So if it goes under, that might work a bit better. It's almost like it's a toga T-Rex. Let me know in the comments below if you like these little cartoon T-Rexes, because I really love drawing them. They're fun. And I was planning on drawing it I will soon, but I think this is going to come out before the other idea. But I am going to be doing a vampire Dilophosaurus, and I'm quite excited to draw that. So half the time I'm not even fully thinking about where these drapes and bandages, there we go, nearly forgot, where these bandages are going to go, but I'm just kind of plonking them in without too huge a care. It's also like around here, it's like such a mangled mess of lines, so I apologize if you actually do want to follow along. This will make a lot more sense once the ink is down, and hopefully I don't mess it up. I'm going to put a bandage actually in between the toes. I think that will work. So I've done a line in between and then let this toe cover that bandage. Doesn't matter if you draw over some of the other toes, because you can just do that. And then I'll draw the bandages coming around the foot. Yes, that works. That works. I like it. I like it. This is working quite well. I'm liking this new lease of life of art that I've got. After living with so much anxiety for the last couple of months, well actually the last few years really, been a bit of a rough year or two, so it's nice to let loose and unwind and kind of relax finally. Sometimes you just want to, you know, relax and have some fun, and that is what we're doing. So I also saw in one of my other comments, one of my followers, he unfortunately, or she unfortunately, lost their job, which was, you know, sad and bad news to hear. I'm sure they'll find another job soon enough, but the fact that they said that this was a nice distraction for them, and really that's kind of what that's really what the whole point of this channel is about. Like, I don't really do this for the views. Well, okay, we'll do it for the views, and we'll do it for the subscribers, but like, you know, I am happy to get whatever views and subscribers that I get. I don't make a big song and dance about, you know, how many, like, if I'm not getting enough, it doesn't bother me too much. What I do it for, the reason why I love doing these drawings and doing these videos, is I just love hearing the stories, like, you know, how I've made a positive impact, because that's basically what I want to do with my life, really, just make people happy. I know how, you know, how much of a struggle my life has been, and sometimes you just want to de-stress, relax, and have a nice distraction from the harsh world. So that is the point of what I do. Distracting you, sometimes Matt just distracts myself, and that is why I do what I do. So if you like that too, I really appreciate ya, and I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, give it a big old smash of likes. If you haven't subscribed already, I don't know what you're doing. You should probably hit that subscribe button. Oh man, talking like I'm up myself there. But no, if you're new here, and you just like, when I've watched a few videos, like, I don't subscribe to people right away. I usually, you know, check out a couple of their videos. You want to watch, like, say, maybe 5 or so videos before you kind of get the gist of, if you think, oh yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy sticking around for this channel. So, you know, if you've watched a few of my videos and you like this and you know, you want to stay around, I'd really appreciate that subscribe. But, you know, on the same token, if you just want to watch, if you don't feel like subscribing but you enjoy watching this, because on the other, I will go on a slight tangent, but I have noticed that once I've subscribed to channels that I really like I've seen a few of their videos recommended, once I am subscribed to their channel, I stop getting the videos recommended. So sometimes I'm like, well, if I subscribe, I might not get some of their videos, so I sometimes don't subscribe just so I can see their videos. It's a problem with YouTube, but anyway, enough of that. We're going to move on to the ink side of things now. Right, I'm back, and I've got myself some ink pens, because it wouldn't be Inktober without some ink going on. Might also hear that there's some birds outside. There's not much I can really do about that, so we're just gonna have to enjoy them as some background music. just going to fix up a few of these little bandages, as we forgot what they were called before, but now we are going to do some inkage. Got the 0.1, the 0.3, and the 0.8. Start off with a 0.1. Usually the best one to start off with those are 0.3. And like the other ink drawing that I did the other day, I'm just gonna sort of ease into it. And also my pen is casting a lot of shadow, which is kind of annoying. We'll just have to deal with the light that we've got. So I'm just gonna ink in bits and pieces. So much like my drawing style, as you saw previously, my inking style kind of goes all over the place. Basically because I like to put in bits and pieces just for proportions and to see where things need to be built up. It's not typically how you're meant to draw. Well, there are no real rules to drawing, but generally people just, you know, they stick to one area. Sometimes I do that, just depends how I feel. But I'm also thinking, I don't know if this is going to be more of a comic-y graphic book style, probably in the same vein as my as a zombie. That's what it was. Had to remember there for a moment. This may actually end up as just a time lapse. If you're wondering what pens these are, they're Unipin fine liners. I think they're pretty common around the world, but if not, I'll try to remember to put a link down. I'll try not to cover what I'm drawing while I'm drawing it, because I know that's a problem that I sometimes have. So when I recorded this part, I was trying to figure out things of what to say while inking. Inking is an incredibly long process to do, so while I was hoping to make this part informative when I was talking about it, you're not really missing out on much. So unless you really want to see the slow, rambling version of this, which if you do, leave down in the comments below, I might just make that a private or an unlisted video. Otherwise, you probably just enjoy this. There's nothing really you're missing out on in terms of information, and I've zoomed in enough so you can actually see what I'm doing. And don't forget, if you want to see this slowed down, you can always slow it down in your YouTube player as well, so keep that in mind. But until we get to the colouring section, enjoy this little bit of time lapse. Now it's time to start colouring in this little bad boy. For this, we're not going to be using much in terms of colour. Basically, just going to be keeping it that. Maybe a little bit of a brown for the bandages. We've also got a bit of grey. And for the skin, it's mostly just going to be greens and greens. These are Faber-Castell. I went to town about talking about my love for Faber-Castell. They're not a sponsor. Hopefully one day they shall be. For now, I just enjoy using their products, and we're going to basically be having bits of dinosaur green popping out through bits of beige. I want to have like bits of dinosaur popping out, so probably like, so we're definitely going to have some green here. So we've got that bit of green there. Gonna have a bit of green in there as well. Oh no, that's gonna be bandage. That's a good thing about having it in a light layer of lead, and you don't have to worry about too much lead going down. So I'm gonna put a little bit of green there. I think we'll probably have a slither of green in there. We're gonna have green in that spot. Yeah, I think we'll have green in that spot, and a little bit of green popping up in there. Gonna have some green showing up through the toe. That toe is going to be mostly green, and some green in there because we don't have any bandage lines there. Safe to make it a little bit darker around this spots. I might leave that leg completely bandaged up. We're going to have the arm and the body green around there. Green in the arms and hands, and green in the fingers. You can actually darken up some of the areas that I'm happy to have green now.
Look how fast my hand's going right now. I mean, damn.
That's right. I also wanted to do the eye as a glowing red. We just want a light layer surrounding the bandage, and then a darker, make it darker around there. And I do want some glowing orange in there, bit of glowing red there. Yep, that's looking good. Then we're gonna get our darker green and just put in some shadows. Shadow up in there. This is a darker green, so we don't want the greens to be like black or whatever. I don't even know if I'll put a black layer in there. I may well, we'll see. But you can see I'm using this green as a bit of a shadow. Put some shadow under the fingers, in between the toes. So you know what, I'm even going to put a bit of green in there. Gonna make this a little bit more vivid green. But now I'm going to use a bit of yellowy brown, and I'm just going to go in very lightly around the edges, sometimes in the corners, so you can get some shading going on in there. Basically just using this as kind of like a shadow. Maybe a little bit of an outer edge there. Definitely some shadows up in there. You want to keep it light though around these spots. Bit of a brown in that spot. Down here can be a little bit more shadowy. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the brown in the between there, because that's a bit of a shadowy spot. Bit of a shadowy spot there. And I go from dark and then light. It's always good to have like a little bit of shadow sometimes near the lines. I mean, it's not a huge amount of colour, but it's just that little bit of oomph. I'm actually starting to think that a bit of brown can actually work in the shadows as well. So I'll do that once I've finished putting some of this beigey, browny yellow in there. So I don't want too much of the green dinosaur, just want little bits of it popping out. And the more I look at it, the more I want a little bit of purple. Do I want more purple or do I want more blue? Maybe I'll do a combination of the both around there, along these spikes. And now let's put a little bit of purple in there. Oh, there you go. That purple will really help get that vividness in there. Gives it that little bit of a cartoony vibe that you want. Went a little bit outside the lines, but sometimes you can be lucky enough to actually erase. If you haven't gone too hard on the pressure in some of those areas, you can, at least with Faber-Castell anyway, you can actually erase some of the colouring. That's another reason why I like Faber-Castell. If you mess up a little bit, you do have a little bit of leeway. And now we're going to go back to this. Let's erase a little bit of that, which we can. I'm going to put some green in there, see if the green works a bit better. Yeah, okay. I think that works better. Put a bit of black in there. And while we've got the black, we might as well do the nails, claws. That seems to be working pretty well. Put in a nice little red tongue in there. I was tempted to make the tongue a little bit green, but I'm not sure. I don't actually know what would happen if you mix red with green. I think it gives you a bit of a brown colour. You know what? Let's live dangerously. Let's try it. Let's see what happens if we put a bit of green in there. It doesn't make it look sick, but I guess, you know, mummies are not exactly among the world of the living, so it's not that far-fetched to make it a bit of a green, sick tongue. And while I'm at it, I'm actually just going to chuck in some little scales in there, just because I can. And sometimes I like to add a few little scales like this, because why not? Gives a little bit of extra depth and detail. I think it's also something that Pixar do as well. They add little bits of, especially with the dinosaurs, they add like little things like that. It's very subtle. Subtlety is key. Unless you're a Brachiosaurus or a T-Rex that likes to chomp on things, in which case subtlety doesn't really go in your nature. Kind of almost want to find something a little bit darker than that. Could put some like little splotches, but I'm definitely putting these little bits of brown around the edges because they work as a nice subtle bit of shadow. I think we need to do a little bit more with the eye actually, because with the white part it didn't really, I don't know, it needs a little bit of, don't think we really need too much black in here. So yeah, repeat after me and emphasis on the O. Tell yourself, yeah, it's looking alright. Because, you know, Australians, we don't really say alright. Well, we do, but satirically, if you want to say alright, like an Aussie, go, oh yeah, it's alright. I just added a little bit of black shading, even though I said I wasn't going to. It's looking cute though. I like him. I want to try and get these out as stickers too. I think that would be pretty gnarly.
Fun fact, they are available as stickers now and as t-shirts. Link down in the description below.
And then I'm just going to give him some yellow teeth. Because, you know, dinosaurs don't brush their teeth. We'll add a little bit of red in there. Kind of makes it more look like he's got gold teeth. Maybe it's a grill wearing T-Rex. It needs a little bit more just in here, I think. And just a little bit more color in there. Actually, let's see if I can do this. Try to erase. Ah, look at that. That was pretty damn easy. Gonna put in a yellow tooth in there. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of the green in the tongue. I think the green and the brown tongue made it a bit gross. Maybe we'll make it a bit more paler. Maybe that's better. So I think that's pretty much done. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this little fella.
If you want to get yourself a copy of him, like I said, links are down in the description below. Otherwise, if you like what you've seen here, think about subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you don't miss my future videos. But if you don't want to wait for my next video, I've got 2 other videos you can watch right now, as well as a whole stack of other videos on my channel. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my other videos. Cheerio for now.